It's being called a soft coup. In less than 24 hours, the ruling military junta tightened its grip on power and dealt a crushing blow to the country's supposed transition to civilian rule and democracy. The government quietly reimposed martial law Wednesday night. The next day, Egypt's highest court ruled that pro-military candidate Ahmed Shafiq could not be banned from running for president, despite his links to Hosni Mubarak. And in a second ruling, the court ruled recent parliamentary elections partially invalid, effectively dissolving the newly elected parliament. Legislative powers will now be assumed by the military council until new parliamentary elections are held in 60 days. The military announced it will also assume control of selecting members of a constitutional assembly that will draft a new constitution. The rulings were not unexpected. Protesters here believe the judiciary takes orders from the military council. Now, regardless of who wins the elections being held this weekend, the military council will remain firmly in power. Its generals, more assured than ever, they will preserve their immunity and vast economic interests. As the elections approached, security forces were deployed throughout the country, hearkening back to the Mubarak regime. Behind the court, walls of police and army soldiers led protesters down a path into someone's farmland. As we filmed their journey, we were detained by these police officers and threatened with being jailed and our equipment taken, despite our press credentials.
في قبضة بوليسية عشان يزوروا الانتخابات. في القانون وحش قوي بتاع الضبطية اللي هو بيدوها للشرطة والمخابرات العسكرية. القانون سيء جدا اسمه قانون طوارئ.
At the court, chants ran out against the military junta and Ahmed Shafiq. When the court's ruling were finally announced, protesters erupted in anger. Surrounded by hundreds of heavily armed police and soldiers, the protests quickly dissipated. Ahmed Shafiq announced the decision as a victory. The court rulings were a blow to the Muslim Brotherhood, which held a plurality in the parliament. But instead of joining a movement to boycott the elections, presidential candidate Mohamed Morsi announced he would not drop out of the race. Protesters took to the streets again on Friday, many of them accusing the Brotherhood of once again betraying the popular uprising that ousted Mubarak. Regardless, Ahmed Shafiq presents their greatest challenge.
الشرق الأوسط كله انتخب مرسي مش هينجح. القوانين بتقول كده. القوانين. بص شوفي أحمد شفيق مين؟ أحمد شفيق اسمه الفريق أحمد شفيق. يعني هو مرشح المجلس العسكري. احنا مش عايزين ضحك علينا تاني.
ولو الإخوان لو احنا بنقول الإخوان هيطلعوا وحشين مش هياخدوا ساعتين. احنا مش هنحارب مجلس عسكري. احنا هنحارب الإخوان نفسهم. الدنيا كلها بتحارب في الإخوان. مش هياخدوا ساعتين. هننزل الميدان مش هياخدوا ساعتين. لكن بالنسبه لاحمد شفيق مع بلطجيه عسكري مجلس عسكري فاحنا بنقول الفتره الجايه فتره صعبه قوي علينا. فتره صعبه جدا على الشعب المصري كله. قانون ضبطيه يعني العسكر راجعين تاني.
Many activists say there is one last line of defense against a complete military takeover, another massive uprising. As protesters marched, their chants against Mubarak's former prime minister grew louder. This is an example of how revolutionaries feel about the pro-military candidate Ahmed Shafiq. They're ripping down one of his billboards, and they've been doing this for the past couple of weeks. And as you can see, there's lots of jubilation over the desecration of Ahmed Shafiq's face, a direct reflection of how the revolution feels about him. This rally, miles away from Tahrir, started out small, but hundreds more soon joined. Protesters say this march is just a prelude to what will happen if Ahmed Shafiq, the pro-military candidate, wins the presidency of Egypt. They expect a popular uprising similar to what happened during the oust of former President Hosni Mubarak. If Mohamed Morsi wins, it presents a more ambiguous scenario, as protesters say they don't believe any president that will come to power will be independent of the ruling military junta. Ahmed Shafiq, Cairo, Egypt.